most bears have some kind of distinguishing characteristics. 480 Otis, that's the larger, blonder bear. He's got a really floppy right ear. He's one of the only bears that I've seen that has such a distinctive ear. His right ear just kind of flops over. It doesn't stand up straight like his left ear does. He's really, really fat right now. You know, you can also use some behavioral characteristics. Oh, great. I've got, we got another bear just showed up. This is the bear that I saw on the upper river last night. And I believe that this is 89, nicknamed Backpack. This is, again, another bear that's just shown up very recently. And so, like I said before, in August and beginning of September, it's really not very common to be able to see bears at the falls proper. A lot of times, the bears we see along the river, they're walking the river, they're down at the mouth waiting for those sockeye salmon that have already spawned. They got very low energy. Start being washed that direction, they can kind of scavenge down there. I did walk the upper river yesterday in the evening, and I was able to see 128, nicknamed Grazer, with all three of her cubs. So that family is also returned. And it seems that there's a lot of sockeye salmon up near Lake Brooks and up in the upper reaches of the Brooks River. And I think what's happening is a lot of bears are walking that stretch of the river and fishing just in that location. It's not going to be quite as good of fishing conditions as down at the falls, where you can wait for fish to just bump into you. But using the dash and grab like we saw 89 use just a moment ago can still be pretty effective up there. And now we've got 151 successfully catching another silver salmon. So I'd like to watch him eat this salmon, and we'll see if he either eats the whole thing or if he does what we call high grading, where he eats just the most fatty parts of the fish. That'd be the skin, the brain, and then if it's a female fish, the eggs as well. And then I'd like to compare that to see 480 next time he catches a fish. To see kind of some of the differences in the approach. 480, and I'll zoom out so we can see him as well. 480 is a pretty old bear. He's in his late teens. Bears on average live to be about 20 years old. So he's kind of pushing the upper limits of what a wild brown bear, what their lifespan will be. He's actually missing 2 canine teeth. It makes it pretty difficult for him to peel that skin off and to kind of delicately pick through the fish carcass and get those fatty parts that he wants to get to. He's still perfectly capable of doing it, but it takes him a little bit longer. And as we watch 151 do just that, peel the skin right off, even being a smaller bear, we'll be able to see, you know, by contrast, how much more difficult it is for 480 to do the same thing. So like I mentioned earlier, when these bears come back after being away during August, and even for the bears that stayed, there's a lot of changes. They look like different bears by the time they get back, and you kind of have to go through a whole new process of trying to identify them. I'd give it about a 80%. I'd say I'm 80% sure that the bear that we're looking at here is 89. I'm a little less sure as I watch him though, because of his behavior. 89 backpack, he's a bear that, he's pretty successful at fishing. And although he does like to try some different spots, he's very adaptable. He'll fit in where he fits in. This bear is he's looking a little bit more inexperienced. He's also, maybe just a little bit smaller than I would have imagined 89 to be as he came back. Not a tiny bear by any stretch. But if you compare him to 151, the bear on the rock eating that silver salmon, they're about the same age. I think they might be 1 year apart. So I just want to watch this new bear and see, if you have any other ideas, maybe you think it's a different bear, enter your thoughts in on Discuss in the chat. And hopefully I'll get a chance to take a glance down, and if not, I'll definitely take a look after the play-by-play is over. So I did just look down at the chat, see a lot of guesses of 503. And the more I look at this bear, of course I get biased when I start hearing other people say who they think it is. It makes me think it's that bear too. But I think that's definitely a good theory. Certainly by the behavior, doesn't seem to match up with 89. The size, just a little bit smaller. I did compare some fall photos of 89 last year to some pictures I took of the bear from last night, and it's definitely the same bear from last night. I'm about 100% sure of that. But we'll have to just continue watching, and maybe we can narrow down